welcome back to the Mom's Choice Awards Filming Studio here at Book Expo America 2012. I'm here with Kelly Moss, author of The Santa Club. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so honored.
How does it feel to take your first book and just have it take off and fly?
Oh my gosh, it's overwhelming. It's so exciting and it's so humbling and it's so fun, and I can't wait for the next one.
There's the next one. Do tell.
Well, we have a couple things that my family is involved in, and so some of my books, I'd like to stick with helping families, and so my next book is an adjunct to this, and that is After a Child Becomes Part of the Santa Club, Then What? And then we also have another book that is kind of different in the sense, my boys are actors in LA, so we really want to help families help their children in that industry without getting taken. So many families spend so much money, and really they should never spend a penny if they find the right people. So we have a couple things in the process.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Santa. What was that aha moment for you that said, you know what, we need to tell this story?
You know, you have to excuse me because I can get emotional. My mother-in-law, we were visiting her in Ohio when my oldest, who's now 22, was 6, and asked that all-important question if Santa was real. She stepped in and said, "May I answer it for you?" And at the moment she said that, I was like, phew, because I was really taken back. We had thought about this tradition, but I don't think we realized, you know, that moment when your child is looking for you to answer this big question in their eyes. And truthfully, and you know, there's such a stigma with the way families sometimes answer it. And I talk to people in their 50s now who tell me they were devastated if they heard something, or they were happy if they heard something else. So there's no clear-cut answer for this question. So when we were at her house and Jonathan asked, my mother-in-law welcomed him into the Santa Club. She told him the answer that's in the book, and that night he stayed up, and as a member of the Santa Club, he helped do something very special for his brother. The following year, when his brother asked, my son stepped in and said, "I'll handle this, Mom," and he welcomed him in the Santa Club.
Wow, I got chills in my
I know,
arms.
it was so, you know, I think back to that time because it took a long time. I had always wanted to tell that story, and it took me a very long time because sometimes when you do this type of project, it takes a while. And I think back to that moment, and I know when she told him this answer, both of us were standing there with our mouths open. I know I was. And to that day forward, I can see a direct correlation from our children want, Santa's coming and we got Santa presents, to thinking bigger and giving back. And I can never thank her. I really can't.
Well, I was going to ask you, what was her reaction when you handed her the book?
You know what? It's so funny because she was the type of mom that just loved unconditionally. She was the epitome of being a mom. So when I said to her, you know, "Here, Mom," and it's dedicated to her, and she was hilarious. She goes, "Oh yeah, I remember that." I said, "Don't you remember the whole story?" And she said, "Well, I don't remember all of the story, but I do remember he was really young." And I'm like, she loves it. And my husband's family, of being married for 25 years, you become the same family, and they are all so proud. And they all know what kind of woman my mother-in-law was, right? And all our friends do. And so they know that this is a true extension of her. So it's really a blessing.
That's very special.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So your oldest was 6 at the time.
Yes, he was young.
So this is a book for young children, but is it for young audiences?
No. Now, this book is a little bit different in the sense that the average age of a child that asks this question is supposed to be about 8 or 9. I see children anywhere from 6 or 5 all the way up to 12 who are ready for this question. This question is a lot like the other big questions in your children's life. Each child comes at it at their own time. So, whereas this book is more of a personal decision upon the parent's part to share with their child, it is for almost every child that does celebrate the Santa tradition. So it's kind of unique because you see kids, and there's a theory out there that the 10, 11, and 12-year-olds don't ask this question because they don't, they're afraid they won't get Santa gifts or Santa won't come. But I really think that when they get to that age, they don't ask because they've heard stories and they don't want to be in a situation where they're uncomfortable. So this book really is more of an individual family book.
Is it a book that mom and dad should read first before they share
Absolutely. I tell moms and dads and teachers and librarians, family members, friends, please read it first. Not because this book has anything crazy in it, but what happens is being a part of the Santa Club is part of a worldwide giving club. And a lot of families have taken this book, and when the parents read it, they're prepared for that moment when the child asks, and they take it a step forward. So, and now I have goosebumps because we have families that are doing things like amazing things. We had a family, we were in Portland, we have a family who goes and buys all this food. The kids buy it, macaroni and cheese and SpaghettiOs, but they take all that food and they drop it at a doorstep of a neighbor who might be ill or elderly, and they ring the doorbell and run. And then we have families that do, the Christmas trees at Lowe's or Home Depot or any one of the big shops, and it's kind of the little tiny tree, and they create decorations with popcorn garland, and they do all these, and they put it somewhere where they think someone might need a smile, and the kids do it in secret. We have a family I think they're in Indianapolis. They gave up all hot lunch for the month of December, took the money that they saved, the kids, and then they went and sponsored a family in secret. So we're seeing families take this to a whole nother level in teaching their kids. So that's why parents should definitely read it first, because then they can decide the best way for their family to proceed as part of the Santa Club.
Well, one of the questions that comes up periodically or around, October, November time of year is, Santa, it's a Christian thing. How do you respond to that? I'm sure you've heard that question.
I have, and it's funny because this book kind of transcends denominations. It is considered a Christian book in the sense that it talks about Christmas, which for most of us, about 70% of the population, that's the way we grew up. Christmas was going to church with your family. It was the celebration of it. The traditional truth of Santa is a really wonderful story. And it has its fact based upon a man who was a Christian, in the sense that he was a monk. So when you really look at this book, that part might be considered Christian, but really the gift of giving transcends whether you're Christian or you're Jewish or you're of the Islamic faith. We all give. I find that most of the people who read it understand that under the premise of Christmas, that this is exactly what it's supposed to be, because it tells that truth of Christmas. But it is fun to watch. I have one of my best friends is our attorney, and that I grew up with in Massachusetts. He's one of my best friends. He's an attorney. Side note. But,
Yeah.
but he is amazing, and he goes to temple, and so he has asked me to write a Jewish Santa Club book, which of course I would be happy to, because the gift of giving does not stop at just being a Christian. It really has more to do with human nature and the blessings.
It's the foundation of all faiths, is that we help those in need, and
it really is.
Yeah.
Now the best part about the Santa tradition is the gift of giving in secret, and that takes it to a whole new level. And that is what's really fun. And I think that's a gift that we need to make sure we pass on to our children. Because as we all know as adults, sometimes when you give in secret, most of the time, it's just a blessing.
Yes.
You don't need anything back.
No.
And what a gift to teach our kids that. And I have not met one family or one child that has used this book or read this book that has not relished in giving back in secret. They think it's so cool. They think up great ways to do it.
Clearly, you had some wonderful examples.
Oh my God, and more and more. And one of the perfect examples that we all just read about was people who went in and did the layaway, and they just paid off people's layaway. That's a perfect example of being a member of the Santa Club. No idea who the person is, have no idea why, but they just passed it on during the holiday season, and we should do that during the holiday season and beyond.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to see the next book.
Oh my gosh, you know what? It's been such an honor, and the Mom's Choice Awards are just, you guys are just wonderful. We've had such a good time. It's been a true honor, and it's nice to know that it's recognized to help families.
Wonderful.
So,
well,
thank you.
congratulations again.
Thank you.
And thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. It was fun. Thanks.